Good morning, everyone.
Cheers.
Cheers. Some lovely teeny coffees this morning to start the day. Little coffee for a big day. But anyways, welcome to Coffee Talk. We're glad you're here. And I'm suddenly self-conscious about the size of my hands.
We feel like, or like we feel like we're just huge people.
Oh yeah,
That's right. It's like,
Okay, can I just explain? For the longest time,
Yeah.
I had so much coffee, so much brewed coffee,
yeah.
and like you just felt like you were going through at least 3 cups a day. Between the 3 of us, just was so much, and then like Alana and I would have some at home. So I got to a point where I said, I just would rather one coffee that's like a kick in the face, and then I get on with my day, and it's the same amount of everything that I would like, and I can enjoy that small coffee more.
So
I don't need to drag it on for 3 hours.
When you see the kick in the face,
it's
let us
coming
know.
in about 10 minutes.
Yeah, no, these are good too. They're specialty coffees. You made them really nice.
I definitely feel like this is a quality over quantity kind of move.
Yes.
Welcome to Coffee Talk. As we gather today to connect, chat about what's coming up in the life of Lakeview and look back at where we're at in our series, because it's about us but not us. It's about the church but also this church and who we are, how we're connected to the kingdom of God. And we're talking mission. And I did say in kind of the announcements, like we use that word in many different ways, right? We talk about missions, and I think we would be errant if we just think that mission is something the church like that happens overseas.
Yeah.
But we're all on mission. We all have a mission and invitation to join Jesus in his work. And at Lakeview, that starts with surrendering to Jesus. That's the first step. If we're gonna join him, we've got to recognize that he's in the lead. Now, I want to start, before we get into all the specifics of the whole mission statement and kind of keying in on a couple things that you said. What is the difference for you guys between like a work and a to-do list? Because I want to, and I say it that way, well, I'll give you a moment to think. I'll tell you why I'm asking that question. This is not like a Jesus-given to-do list that do and then follow me. This is a invitation to a work with him. So how would we characterize the difference between a to-do list and an actual work, almost calling, like not really a career, but that but something we might be called into.
Okay, I know the answer.
Good question.
Okay, great, good. Yeah. The answer, definitively.
Only based on the 10 seconds of preamble that I've been given.
Yeah.
Here's what I would say.
I think you got the kick in the face.
Let's go! A to-do list, I can get to the end of it,
Yeah.
and I can take that hat off, go home, and be a totally different person. A work is more of an identity, not necessarily just the things I need to do to get things done.
Right.
The to-do list is what I need to do, but it doesn't tell me who I need to be. And I think the work thing has more of just a wider, larger, deeper element, whereas like I can get through my to-do list and not do it well, and just, it just becomes a thing to do, right? Yeah. Whereas the work itself, I think, really reflects who I'm working for, who I'm working with, the character that I do it with, the quality of my work, all of those things. It just goes a whole lot deeper. Maybe that's what you're asking. Maybe it's not what you're asking.
No, I think I'll be honest. I only thought of the question after my first sip of coffee, so I don't even know how I. But I do think that it's the idea for me. Yeah, the first thought is the idea of I could be finished a to-do list. And I think that this is a lifelong calling, a lifelong mission that Jesus invites us into, that then therefore doesn't end. But Jeff, do you have any additional thoughts on the characters and the difference?
I like that, yeah. I was thinking a work will, have many different to-do lists involved, right? And so
Okay.
like, as you're going about, you'll develop, so yeah, but that falls within.
Cheryl makes great to-do lists.
It falls within, well, and she has a big picture of work in
Yeah,
mind, right?
yeah.
So, but like, that's the idea is, which you kind of, it is included in what you just
Yeah.
said, so yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. You guys know this, but for everybody else, I listen to some podcasts. And it was interesting for me this week after I listened to the sermon, as I was busy doing other things, because I typically listen to sermon midweek in the podcast form. I just like to put it in while I'm out for a walk or, doing other things. And then another podcast came on, and it's a series I often listen to. They're talking Sermon on the Mount. They're talking especially Lord's Prayer. And when one of the hosts then started talking about the idea of participating in God's kingdom. And he talked about how we often do this in church, right? Where one will get up and say, he is risen. Usually it's an Easter thing, right? Someone will say he is risen, and we respond, he is risen indeed. And this host then commented that he sort of sees after that as if the two participants in that then kind of give each other a knowing wink, put on their gloves, and then get to work. It's like we gather and worship, and that's part of the mission, but we actually get to continue doing what Jesus did. And I want to be clear, when we put together a mission statement, it is not to say that other churches who phrase it differently or say something different is wrong. This is just what we feel specifically for us at Lakeview is being called into.
Yeah.
And so one of the ones that, and I really did appreciate, Jeff, I heard you say in the sermon that it is, that we do this imperfectly, right? We're trying for it. This is somewhat aspirational, but we really believe that this is significant enough to better to try and fail and mess up and then, come to Jesus and try again than just sort of say you throw our hands up and say it's too muzzle. So I really love, we talked about bless and the call to bless our community and neighbors. And, but that's how we end it. Can you just sort of bring everybody through the middle section? It starts with surrender and it ends with blessing. How do we get from surrendering to blessing?
Yeah. So it's the statement is surrendering to Jesus and joining Him in transforming our hearts and blessing our city and world. So that first whole big part is all about us, and we've used that phrase. 16th century William Tyndale said the church is the only organization that exists for those outside it. And if you read the first, long part of that mission, it seems like, well, that's all about us. Where do you get to the end? But until we're surrendered, like you said, we're going nowhere. It's the surrendering to Jesus and joining Him that really has to come first, because it's His mission that we're getting involved in. We're not sent by Him on our own. We're joining Him, and He goes with us wherever we go. He leads us where we're supposed to go. So it's joining Him. And it also starts here too. We don't have to be completely perfect before we start. We actually can start right away because He starts transforming our hearts. But we are involved in transforming our hearts. And then blessing our city and world is it will naturally fall out of all of that, because that's what Jesus is about, right? Blessing.
Yeah.
From the very beginning, we talked about Genesis 12, when He called Abraham. I want to bless the whole world. I'm going to do it through you. And, failure after failure, but Jesus came and He fulfilled that mission and is fulfilling that through us now. So I forget what you wanted me to take through the middle part. Did I do that?
Yeah, I think so. I think so. But
I feel like you did. Can I ask a dumb question? Unless, Chris, you're going to go a different direction.
that's all right.
My dumb question
We can
is,
get it.
when you say surrendering to Jesus, maybe you referenced it in the sermon, maybe you didn't. I listened, but I wasn't.
The Lego guy.
Did you clarify? And I'm asking a dumb question because I think I know the answer. Did you clarify the difference between? I surrendered to Jesus when I was 12 years old, and I gave my life to Him.
Yeah.
Okay, now I'm going to go transfer, right? Because you said, okay, I can't bless the city and world if I don't if I'm not being transformed by Christ.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I did that when I was 4 or 12 or 26 or whatever. I surrendered to Jesus, now I move on.
Mm-hmm.
Or is it I am surrendering to Jesus as it's a process, but then it's also harder to do because then it feels like every day is a reset and I did terrible at that, right? But yet, that's why he's the one out front. He's the Lord of the Eagles. He is the one that's leading the whole thing. And he's transforming our world, but he's doing it through me.
Yeah, you brought that to light. I definitely tried to say that in the sermon. Those are in the active, present active tense. So surrendering, like not just I surrendered. We start there, but it is an active surrendering. Like every day I have to surrender again to Jesus and say, this day is yours, not mine. You know, I want to follow you. Give me strength. I join you. You know, so it's surrendering and joining, right? Like two.
Which goes back to what you were saying about the Lord's Prayer, right? That it's like this continual, like, let's keep processing, let's keep working, let's keep doing it together. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I think one thing I'd love to touch on that is sort of implicit in what you're asking about too, Kevin, is that it is kind of that soupy sort of thing. It's not linear, I guess is what I'm trying to say, right?
Yeah.
We would love for it to be, okay, I did that, and then I did that, and then I did that. So
Check
I
off a
surrendered,
checklist that you're
then
done.
I joined, and now I'm going to do, and then, right, and then, but it actually kind of happens imperfectly, but all at once, and you know, sometimes we're going to do better on one and the other. Because if we think that before we can bless our others, we have to get this right and this right and this right, we're probably never going to get there.
Right.
And
Yeah.
the reality is, it's like, no, we're going to do that now. But because even in that act of surrendering, it's sort of like, well, he's already begun the transforming work as we're surrendering. It's like, and so it kind of, a lot of it is simultaneous. And for those of us who just love a step by step, okay, I'm going to take this piece and I'm going to connect it to this piece, and then I'm going to get this piece and connect it to this piece, and we love those. This isn't that.
Right.
And that's where it gets complicated. And I think that's another way it's just not like a to-do list, in that we don't just check, that's done, and now I can move on, and it's this thing.
Yeah.
And even the word surrender also means, you know what, I don't get my way.
Yeah.
Or I might have to actually admit I'm wrong halfway through the plan that I'm processing, and you know, I have to change course. And that actually, I think, is just as much of a difficulty, but that's actually, I think, where the transforming our heart happens, in saying, not my will, God, but yours be done.
Yeah, absolutely. And I also think that when we put words in a way that we did for this statement, it sounds like they're all very separate, but like surrendering and joining. What's the difference?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like we're very like it is splitting hairs. And I know you often use that two sides of the same coin analogy, but this is like it's sort of like to surrender is to join.
Yeah.
And
It's a good point. Very good point.
and then what happens almost immediately is we begin transforming.
Yeah.
Like it's sort of like
And part of that transforming is blessing. Like you can't be transforming if you're not blessing. So
yeah, absolutely. And then in blessing, we become more transformed. Just as we become more transformed.
Yeah,
And that's, I guess,
kind of a circular, ongoing, or whatever. Yeah, rather than a. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
There's that's probably a nicer way to put it. It really is a all at kind of once, and so
Yeah.
Can I left turn for a second?
please do.
I don't want to go over time, but here's my question. Okay, so you said at the beginning, okay, this is kind of like the mission of the church / our church.
Yeah.
So here's what I'm wondering. Obviously, the configuration of these words, we are making them very personal to Lakeview because we're making them on our website and we're making them specific to Lakeview, and this is what we're calling people to and challenging, encouraging. But Does this also work if we were to pick it up and then drop it on, let's say, our friends at Emmanuel or a church in Calgary or somewhere else? Is it also universal enough to the capital C church that it actually would be the same anywhere and everywhere? Like does this include just Lakeview, or is this the church, right?
It's a big question.
It is a big question.
And I almost, so my thoughts are this. I would think that many church mission statements could be dropped on a lot of different places, right?
Yeah.
And that's kind of the beauty of God's church and the local church, and how is one the other? Yes. And is the other the other? Like,
Yeah.
and so, I actually really do think that this is very from the Bible, this statement, It's meant for us because we worked on it together for this local congregation.
Yeah.
But if it was something that another church couldn't do, then it'd be kind of questionable. Is it really
work?
But this is our mission that we've been called to, and what another church's mission they've been called to. We're probably called to do some of that as well, but this is how we've written it for what we're about, right?
And like, I know it's kind of a dumb question, but I feel like it's an important one, because when we say, this is the mission and vision of God's church, is to do these things, then I feel like also we then can very easily join with a lot of other churches around West Kelowna, around the world, around like to churches in, other side of the country, other side of the world, and still say, we are for you, we are with you, we are together, because we are heading towards the same thing, and we are still fulfilling the Great Commission and all that God has called us to as the church. And that's what actually makes me love the mission and vision all the more, is when it can apply to any church anywhere, technically, even though these words are specific to Lakeview. I think that's beautiful. I love it.
When you think about like what we often call the Great Commission, right, where Jesus, charged his disciples to go and make disciples. There's a lot of vagueness in that, a lot of room for localized interpretation, and that's what I think we've tried to do with universal sort of themes, right? That blessing one another is a way of making disciples. We recognize that all of that was built on an idea that the disciples had already surrendered to Jesus, and they were committed to following him, and they were for 3 years been transformed by him, and we're going to continue to be transformed by him, and we're, all of that is just part of how we express that and modernize it for us here at Lakeview. And you probably could overlay on it other vision, mission statements we've had in the past and go, well, that's just kind of different words to all say the same thing. But we, it is a beautiful update, I think, that is not scripture, but is rooted in it, and is a way to organize our thoughts and our ministry. And what a great time of year when we just this last week had our AGM and kind of say, this is, here's new people coming in that have sort of heard this and are deciding to join us in it. And for the years ahead, it's kind of a way to focus and move. Because without focus, then we're doing all sorts of different things, right? And that's why we have these statements. And so in the weeks ahead, we'll get into what we actually value as a group, right? This is our mission. How are some of the ways we accomplish it? And what, and our values are part of what help us focus even, and refine that focus even further. And so I'm looking forward to working through that. Having worked through it, this is not something that Jeff has sprung on Kevin and I either, right?
We worked
this
on
is
this
something
a
that
lot.
the deacons and us as pastors and the board have all been through, worked through as leaders at Lakeview to kind of craft our direction. And so we're looking forward to that in the weeks ahead. But besides just joining in services and growing in our understanding of who Lakeview is, there's some things going on.
Mm-hmm.
I understand, well, you guys know, you've heard me talking about Friday, which is Friday, not this Friday, but 1 week. I understand, Kevin, there's an event the very next morning
It is.
that people should be thinking about, preparing for, stretching for even now. You want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, so because the chairs are out, we want to utilize that because it'll also be a slightly different group. So the Saturday morning, the 7th, we're going to gather in the sanctuary, and you need to sign up early for the third annual Steve Jones Memorial Pickleball Tournament, and you need to sign up as soon as possible so that we can just have a good idea of who's all in. And yeah, so it's going to be 9:30, just so that we allow a few people to sleep in a bit, and they can each get their own coffee, and then be here and ready to play at 9:30, and we'll have all the court set up. And
How many of these will you have drunk by then?
He's a one coffee guy. I think
Oh, yeah,
that's what we
that's right,
established at
that's
the
right.
start. Now, do you have recommendations for a pre-pickleball breakfast? I know we're not serving breakfast here.
A pickle?
No, for
with-
anybody not on my team, something extremely heavy.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
So like
Something really greasy.
okay, greasy,
And-
heavy.
Yep, lots
So
of-
like full English.
Lots of
We should have like the
vegetables.
beans and the fried, or the is the Irish breakfast, but then also has the fried bread and
Yes.
or the Scottish breakfast that has haggis in it too.
Yeah.
And
Lots of
there's,
gravy.
you know, those.
Lots of broccoli.
the
Really good.
Oh, broccoli is on there. Okay, all right. I thought you were going to be like, no, I'll have lots of milk and dairy
Yeah,
products.
that's right, like, you know.
Let's just
Yeah.
down a pound of cheese
Yeah.
and then come on out. All right, so that's Saturday the 7th, correct?
Yes.
At 9:30 in the morning.
Yes.
But you need to sign up right away because there's limited space for teams. And there'll be links and stuff, all that down below. We also, I feel like there's
Faith-
something else.
Faith night.
Oh,
I'm
Faith
just
night.
looking up the
Thank
date.
you, Jeff. I'm like, no, there was another sporting related thing, but
Yes,
Faith night
yes.
is on the 21st. And
Oh,
on
thank you, you know.
Sunday, we are going to be, we don't know who yet. We're still, but someone will be around that you can connect with one of the three of us. If one of us may have a clipboard in the foyer where you can kind of put down your name and info and how many tickets you want and all that, and we'll buy as a block.
That's why we want to collect them is, you
Yeah.
can buy them on your own, but if you let us know, we'll buy them together, and then we can all sit in a.
Yeah, we've only got a couple of weeks to organize it so that we can get them out early. And if you do miss the deadline for that, you can go online, talk to us. We'll give you the code. You can get your tickets yourself, and we'll tell you what section we're in. And if for some reason you miss when we put our block order in, but we'd love to have you sit with us, join us in that, cheering on the West Kelowna Warriors, connecting with Don Richmond's the chaplaincy program that he has with the Warriors, and just kind of having fun with other churches in West Kelowna at the hockey game.
Yeah.
So.
And you don't have to wait till Sundays to purchase. You can also call the office and
It's true.
Let us know.
order through us.
Yeah, let us know, and we'll love to have you at that. So, am I missing anything big? I don't
You're
think so.
good,
I think
yeah.
that was the. Thanks for spending some time with us. May you have a cup that runneth over with delicious, high quality coffee. And if you have a smaller cup, you need less of it to overflow your cup. Anyways, we hope to see you Sunday. Caffeinated or not, we'll connect real soon.